I thought today I would film a video on cleaning. I like to talk about cleaning for many reasons. It's a necessary thing of life that we just, as adults, need to clean all the time. Something always needs done. Something always needs done. Over the past year or so, cleaning has become a bit of a phenomenon online, like people doing cleaning videos, cleaning Instagrams, it's all over the place. I tend to watch these videos when I need some motivation to do some stuff and I find them useful, but when you have a chronic illness or a mental illness or something that makes your energy levels different to other people, it can be quite hard watching these videos and seeing these people speeding around their homes and cleaning up and using all these products and blah blah blah. It can be quite like, oh, I just don't feel like I can do that. When you have a chronic illness or any mental illness, your energy is often much lower than other people. Whether it's chronic fatigue, fibromyalgia, anxiety, depression, bipolar, I feel like a lot of these, let's call them illnesses, whether you call yours an illness or not, a lot of these things that we deal with are quite similar in a lot of ways. And when I've spoken to people with illnesses that are different than mine, or we call them different things, we've often found that a lot of our symptoms are the same. So that's why I've used the word chronic illness, because that's just a term for all of the things that are kind of invisible illnesses, I guess. So I thought I would give you some tips today on how I deal with keeping my flat clean whilst I have a chronic illness. Bearing in mind, right now my flat is an absolute tip because I've just not had the energy to do it, and that's also fine. But I thought if you want to have some motivation, you want to get some stuff done, hopefully this video can help you, and let's just get into it. If you're a person that's had a chronic illness for a long time and you have tried to go online to find some ways to help yourself, then you probably have come across spoons. And when I first came across this, I thought this was the best idea for anybody with any chronic illness, any invisible illness, any mental illness, any physical illness, or just everybody. I just thought it was a really great way to explain how your energy kind of works. And if you've never come across it before, basically you have a certain amount of spoons per day, and every task you do, you either take a spoon away or you give yourself a spoon. So things like, and this is so dependent on the person, but say an hour nap, that will give you back 3 spoons to your existing however many. Doing your dishes might take 5 spoons away from you if you're somebody that finds it difficult to stand for long periods of time, or you just find that that's a task that takes up a lot of energy. Maybe there's other tasks like hoovering that take less or more spoons for you. I quite like hoovering, I find it quite enjoyable. So I say it would only take 1 or 2 spoons away from my energy. Things like dishes take more and things like laundry takes more. But you can use the spoon kind of technique for every area of your life. If it's friends, maybe some friends take energy away from you, maybe some friends give you energy. Going for walks for some people gives them back loads of energy, and for some people it takes away energy. So it's just a way to kind of monitor your own energy levels, and you can notice if you're only on 2 spoons left for the day, maybe that's the day you need to order a takeaway and not think about the dishes. I just thought this was the best thing I've come across to help people, and so if you've not heard of that before, definitely look into it. My next task is obviously putting things into manageable amounts. For me, it depends on the kind of state of my flat. I find doing a little bit every day is much more helpful than like having a big day to do everything, because that's just not going to work for me and how tired I get and how all that kind of stuff. I find, see, when my flat is in a bit of a pickle, I find starting by picking up 10 things off the floor, or 10 things off the table, or 10 things off, folding away 10 pieces of washing, or whatever it is, I find that really useful, because 10 things is actually quite a lot, but you can count to 10 quite easily, is my thought process behind this. It's quite easy to be like, okay, that's 1 thing, 2 things, 3 things, up to 10. It doesn't take up too much energy, because 10 things actually isn't as much as it sounds, but it also does create much more space than you realise, because 10 items cluttering up a living room or a bedroom or whatever is quite a lot of stuff. So I find that starting with that always really helps me, and if I do that and I'm like, nope, can't do it today, then I will lie back down or sit back down or do whatever I was doing before. But it's a good way to kind of test your energy levels, I feel. Other than that, if your flat's kind of okay but you want to tide it over, just choosing 1 thing a day, 1 room a day, whatever it is your energy allows. Whether it's I'm just going to clean the toilet today, that's you clean the toilet. once more than you would have that day anyway. I think we sometimes are like, oh, I can't clean today, I'm too tired, which is absolutely, of course, it's perfectly fine, but I find that if you do one thing, that's one thing more than you would have done. So if you even just like grab a bottle of bleach and swirl it down your toilet, or you do one dish, even if your dishes are piling really high, that's you know, that's one mug that you can use later, or it's one teaspoon you can use later. Don't get bombarded with the videos online that show people cleaning their whole houses in 3 hours. That's not manageable for everybody, and I think just choosing one thing is better than doing nothing. The next one is, you don't have to have an Instagrammable home. I really like my little flat. It's one of my favourite places in the world, and the thought of not living here one day makes me sad because it has my little things everywhere and I really, really like that. But it's not necessarily Instagrammable, and definitely a lot of the time it is not Instagrammable. I have piles of clean / dirty clothes in the same pile. I have loads of dishes right now. I've had my birthday and Christmas all at once, and so I've got stuff everywhere. It's not somewhere that I can just take a picture and it to be Instagrammable, and I don't think that's the standard that we should go for. Everybody that shares photos of their home or photos of them in their home usually go for a spot that is more clean, that has more stuff put away, that's more organised, it's more pretty, and that's just, I think, human nature to try and show the parts of you that are better. So just remember, every time you see a photo, behind it is dishes, and behind it is washing, and somebody that's probably quite stressed about all the stuff they have to do in their home. So just don't kind of look at things and say, that's how I want my home to be, I could never maintain that, because it's not reality. The next thing I have is to ask somebody to help you, particularly with decluttering. I think the less clutter you have in your home, the less things you have to maintain. That's a tip that I've not taken on myself because I just have stuff, and I quite like having stuff, and I want to do a declutter video soon. But if decluttering is something that you keep thinking about, or even just cleaning, and you're just like, I just can't get to that, and sometimes when your flat or your home gets to a point that it's really, really making you feel rubbish because it's just too much for you to manage, and you've let it get to a point that it's just too much for one person to deal with, it is perfectly okay to ask somebody, your neighbour, your parents, your family, your partner, your friend. I guarantee a lot of the time they're going to be perfectly happy to help you. If any of my friends reach out to me, or my parents or my partner reached out to me and said, I'd quite like a hand just doing this one room, can you help? I would be more than happy to help. I would love that. Cleaning somebody else's house is more fun than cleaning your own. So I think most of the time people will want to help you. So if you need help and you're able to get help, then just ask for help. I know it feels like it's embarrassing and it feels like you can't look after yourself, but that's not what it is. I guarantee you 99% of people have been in your position before when they've let their house get to a point that they find it quite hard to manage, and so that is perfectly normal. The next is to maybe write a list. Write 2 lists. One list that is things that you find fairly easy to do and things that you find quite hard to do. What are the things that you leave off to the last minute? What are the things that you find take so much energy out of you? And what are the things that you find quite easy to do and that when you do them you feel much better? Kind of like the spoon thing, but just having a list of the things that you know are quite quick. Maybe they're things that you can do under 5 minutes. Maybe they're just things that you can do while sitting down or while standing in one position. If you're somebody that finds things like bending down or being on your hands and knees quite difficult, maybe things like cleaning your bath or cleaning your floors might be put in the hard column, and things like folding clothes away you find easier. It's completely down to you, and it's completely, you know, everybody has different preferences on what they find difficult and what they find easy, but just having that list might be helpful for when you're like, right, I have time to do one thing, I feel like I have energy to do one thing. You can pick something from the easy pile, you can pick something from the hard pile, and maybe you can give the hard pile to somebody that is willing to help you and say, these are the things I find hard and I need help with. Just would be a handy wee list to have. My next tip is to keep the products that you use for that room in that room. So keeping your bleach or your bathroom cleaner in your bathroom, so that while you're there, if you've just had a shower or you're waiting for your bath to fill up or whatever it is, you can just quickly grab whatever product it is and just wipe down your sink or whatever it may be. Keeping your kitchen stuff in your kitchen, keeping the individual items that you need in the room that you need them, I feel like is more likely for you to use them in that room rather than being like, oh, I need to go into that room and find the product that I need and cart it around, because I know that can be an exhausting task for some people, just picking up the hoover and taking it to the next room can take up quite a lot of energy. So just having a couple of products in each room that you use for that room, I found really helpful. My last tip I have is maybe a controversial one, and that is sometimes your well-being, your mental health, your physical health is more important than environmental stuff. I'm somebody that does my best to recycle and to do as much as I can for the planet and all that kind of stuff when I'm feeling like I am able to mentally. But if you are somebody that is really struggling and then you have the added pressure of not using products that harm the planet, it can be quite a vicious circle. If you are really struggling to find the energy to cook and then wash all the dishes that you used to cook with, I believe it's perfectly okay for you to use paper plates and disposable plates and stuff like that for an amount of time that you need to. Using reusable wipes like the Dettol wipes for just making sure that things are clean, because there is a point where your home needs to be clean. Having clutter everywhere and things being a bit dirty is fine, but there does come a point where it's like, okay, that might be hazardous to have that amount of dirt in one place. It takes months and months and months and months for it to be that way. But if you are at that point where you think, actually, this is probably not healthy for me to be in this space, I believe it is perfectly okay to use disposable wipes if you need to use them and not feel guilty about it. Obviously, the planet we live on is unbelievably important, and it's really important to do your bits in order to keep this planet alive, because that's a whole other topic of the planet and the state it's in. But everybody's ability is different, and if you are somebody that is really needing just a bit of extra help, and disposable plates and wipes and cups are going to help you out for a little while you get yourself back into a place where you need them more long term, I think that's perfectly okay. You don't need to tell anybody else. It can be a little secret between you and me, and you don't need to tell anyone that you are not doing everything possible for the planet, because you can only do what you can do, and your health and well-being and mind are more important, I believe. Don't come for me. So those are all of my tips for cleaning with invisible illnesses. If you have any more that you use, please let me know, because my flat is in quite a state at the moment. Like I said, with the Instagrammable thing, I have my lovely bedspread and like poster and all that kind of stuff in the background, but you can't see behind the camera, and that is one of the social media things of you can't see what people don't want you to see. Yeah, thank you very much for watching this video. Let me know any tips you have down below, and I'll see you soon.